Welcome to Hack Your Health with Dr. Nat, a transformative live stream TV show that brings wellness within everyone's reach. Each episode, featuring expert guests, delves into crucial topics like hormonal health, effective detoxification, and stress management through nervous system optimization. Gain practical insights into nutrition, supplementation, efficient workouts, and biohacking tools to enhance mental and physical health. So now, please welcome the host of Hack Your Health, Dr. Nat.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Hack Your Health with Dr. Nat. I am your host, Dr. Nathalie Beauchamp. And today we're going to talk about remedy testing, what it is and what it can do to enhance your health. We're going to understand and dig deeper into remedy testing and also identify and how they can identify imbalances and potential issues before they become serious. And we're also going to discuss how to integrate this into our, current health routine and how it can really complement traditional medicine and enhance our overall well-being. So my guest to discuss this is Dr. Angie Pufahl, who is also a fellow chiropractor. And Angie has been a chiropractor for 20 years. She's very well versed in nutrition, muscle testing, blood work analysis, and the study of energy and biofilm. So I'm really curious to dig deeper into this. She practices in Albertville, Minnesota, and also coaches other health practitioners with their own health journey. She's married with 4 grown children. She loves to expand consciousness of humanity by teaching about bioenergetics and the human body. And I love this sentence here. The future is frequency medicine, and we are already there. I just love that, Angie. So welcome to the show, Angie.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I know I was supposed to be here a little while ago and we had to reschedule. So thank you for your patience and still having me.
I'm happy to have the discussion. And this is something that I am a little bit familiar on the topic, but not fully. So I'm looking forward to dig into it. So I always ask Angie, what got you to where you're at when it comes to, you being a doctor of chiropractic? Because we all have a bit of our own journey. So if you don't mind sharing a little bit with us, and then we'll dig into exactly what is remedy testing.
Absolutely. I'd love to share my background. So I started working for my brother, who was a chiropractor, when I was 19 years old, running his office. And I worked for him for 10 years and a couple other chiropractors at that time that needed help in their offices. And then they were having me help train their staff. And so I don't have that big chiropractic story of why I became a chiropractor. I was working for my brother, who was a chiropractor. And then after 10 years, on my 10-year anniversary, I was like, why don't I just go to school? This is amazing, right? I loved being in the office. I loved doing everything. I was doing everything but adjusting. So I went to school along with a baby and a 2-year-old, went through chiropractic school, graduated, and then I've owned a few offices. I've been a partner with someone, and I've also been an associate. So I am pretty well versed in all the experiences of being a chiropractor. And that led to wanting to expand my office, right? Like add in nutrition. What else can I offer my clients? Because I quickly became familiar with not everyone has great results with chiropractic. And that was really frustrating me. I was finding myself 2 years into practice and I couldn't sleep because I was like, why is there like that 10 to 15% of the population, they weren't getting the results that the other 80 to 85 were getting? And that made me start to think more about their diet, their lifestyle, their nutrition, which then led me into studying nutrition response testing, if you've heard of that. Mm-hmm. I went all the way through and got my advanced nutrition response testing certification. I did that for 10 years. I was reading blood work. I was muscle testing, doing hormone panels. And after about 10 years, I was like, there's still something missing. There's something missing. And I literally, after taking a week off for Christmas, I walked into my office and I announced to every patient that I was no longer doing nutrition, that I was going back to just chiropractic. And they were all like, what are you doing? And I was like, you know what? We're missing something. I don't know what it is, but I just couldn't keep taking people's money. The blood work, the muscle testing just wasn't providing enough answers for them. And that means it wasn't providing enough for me. And so I quit. And then all of a sudden I opened an Instagram account like 2 days later, and I saw someone talking about quantum physics and bioenergy testing. And I was like, what is this? And I started looking into it, and I was like, how did this exist? And I didn't know it. So I ended up studying it and looking into it and found out I could get a device. And then there was remedy testing. It was born in the United States. I'm in Minnesota, where the headquarters is. And I've helped thousands and thousands and thousands of people in the last 5 years. I've left blood work. I've left hormone panels. I've left all nutrition response testing because this has been transformational for my clients. So here I am.
Wow, that's great. I love your eagerness to learn. I'm like that too. It's just like, what else can I give in terms of tools to patients? So what kind of information can someone expect to receive from a remedy test? And I guess we should explain exactly what the test is, right?
Yeah, certainly. So basically, if you're local and you come into my office, I have a hand scanner that can read the energy fields of your body and upload it into the quantum software. But if you're not local, I work with people remotely all over the United States. You can send in a piece of hair or use a cotton swab and do saliva. So we do hair, saliva testing, especially for like a baby, right? They don't have hair. So the mom can swab the insides of the cheeks and send that to me, or someone can send a small hair sample. It really does not take much. It's just the easiest thing to collect from somebody would be hair, saliva. And so once that sample is received here at the headquarters, what we do is we analyze it with the bioenergetic device. It's quantum response testing. It's German medicine. So these devices are out of Germany. They are not United States made. There are many around that are United States made, but I chose one out of Germany because they're the ones that have it figured out, right? They're the ones that created a lot of this technology. So we analyze the data. We analyze over 60,000 data points. I don't know of any other testing company that measures that many testing points. There might be, but from what I know, we measure the most data. And what we do differently is we not only look at things like people are familiar with hearing about hormone testing or nutritional deficiencies, but we also look at 17 organs and glands and systems of the body. And then what we do differently is not only can we sit down and give you a 20-page report telling you all about your organs and hormones and nutrients and heavy metals and toxins and burdens, things stuck in your system, but I also have data that I can pull on your psyche. So I can find all this stuck self-sabotage programs that you've embedded or other people have embedded in on you, all the imprints of maybe ancestors. Some studies say we have ancestral lineage back 14 generations of stuff that can get imprinted in our energy field. So a lot of times we're carrying ourselves in this energy field and the stuff is not even ours, but it's preventing us from having this healthy and vital life. So I can look at emotions, mental conflicts that are stuck. Maybe you had an argument with your dad when you were 9 years old and it's stuck imprinted into the cell tissue. That would show up. Or unfortunately, stuff like miscarriages, abortions, maybe you fell out of a tree, while you were getting yelled at by a parent, and that emotional impact imprinted into your cells. So I have really found the missing piece to the blood work, to the, hormone panels, to all of those things, the muscle testing. And you can't beat it when you can sit down and show them their report, but then I have 60,000 data points where I can tell them, this is why your hormones are off. This is why you're hanging on to that parasite and it keeps showing up that you need a parasite cleanse. And most of the time now, what's so different about when I did blood work versus and nutrition response testing, everything almost showed up as like a metal detox, parasite. There was like the top 3 or 4 things always showed up with almost everybody. Those things rarely show up.
Mm.
Rarely show up. A metal detox rarely shows up. A parasite cleanse rarely shows up because we're actually finding the energy that's stuck in their subconscious that when they get exposed to that parasite, why are they hanging on to it?
Mm.
Why are they not releasing the heavy metals? And until you get to that core vibration of why they're holding on to all these things, they're going to keep needing supplements.
Mm.
So I can actually tell them what their priority supplements are at 100% match. I am not affiliated with any one company. So I scan them against 4 different companies, thousands and thousands of products that I've found to work the best with people over the 20 years.
Mhm.
And it will tell me there's 100% match to that one product from this for this company, and then the 100% match from that company. So I'm not guessing, oh, they need D. I don't pick any D. It tells me exactly which company's D they have the best resonance to. And then we're able to sit down, talk about their results, but then I can spend time with them to help them understand all the back data of the stuck emotions, thoughts, beliefs, sabotage programs. That's 90% of every symptom, sickness, and disease. I mean, that's already been proven, but we're
Yeah.
not talking about this. And so all these people are spending so much money on stuff and having all these blood tests and on medications and doing all this stuff, and they're not getting anywhere. And so
Mhm.
they end up in my office.
Yeah, I was going to ask, how does it differ to the conventional test? And I think you answered this. Do you still use the traditional panels, or you strictly use your method?
I'm
Wow.
done with it all. I've been done for about 4.5 years. Unfortunately, our current health care system is based on an outdated paradigm, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And they don't consider the interconnectedness of humanity, of the human organism, of all energy. And
Mhm.
they look at us as separate pieces.
Mhm.
And everything works together. You cannot separate your thyroid from your toe, from your eye, from anything. Everything is interconnected in this biofield with all these energy levels. And your entire life, you've been imprinted on with things that you chose to maybe put in your body or do to your body. And then we're being imprinted by everything around us. And it all depends on the frequency of your vibration of your cells. So that's why some people, got the CV and some didn't. Why didn't everyone get it?
Mhm.
Because we're all vibrating at different frequencies. You had to match the frequency of that to get it,
Mhm. Mhm.
just like anything else.
Yeah, I think you're right in terms of traditional medicine. I think people are starting to be more and more open to this, wouldn't you say? And understand that energy is important. But I think because it's not tangible, because so far, other than the type of technology that you have, it's hard to measure. And as human, we can't see and what we can't measure, we have a hard time grasping it. Like it's like EMF, right? Like it's my Wi-Fi is on in the home right now, and it's just I'm not seeing the Wi-Fi, but I know it's sending signal. And even us, I always say to patient, you go for an MRI test. Well, why do you think you have a picture at the end? Because we're energy and you're resonating and vibrating, and this is why we're able to have this magnetic resonance image at the end. So I think it's coming, but a lot of people probably
Very
have
slowly.
very slowly. I'm not fast enough for you.
It is. It's not fast enough for me, though. I've been doing this for 5 years, so of course I want to help more people and help change humanity, right? And it's just, it's unfortunate because, and I don't mean this negatively, but we've been so primed.
Yeah.
We've been so brainwashed by that system, and we need to declare our independence from it.
Mhm.
And like you, I share examples, Wi-Fi, cell phones. Radios in our car. You get in your car and turn it on and turn on the radio. Where's the music coming from? Like we deal with a lot of invisible energy already, but they just take that, for granted. They don't realize that we can do the health the same way.
Yeah.
And we can analyze and read energy imprints. So I can see all those imprints, and especially the emotions and the stuck mental conflicts of that maybe argument or divorce or whatever it is they have in their life will show up. And then they'll sit there and they'll process it, and they'll experience those emotions right in front of me, and I go through that with them, and it'll say, this is stressing your thyroid. So I can show them and help them understand it is not a deficiency of that medication. You do not need that medication. It's an emotion that's causing your thyroid to be off, or it's the divorce you went through, and everyone thinks, well, I thought I got over it. I thought, we'd release it. Well, I mean, do we ever really get over it? It's not about getting over it. It's about transmuting that energy. You can't create or destroy energy. We need to shift it. We need to navigate it. We need to flow with it, so it's not stuck and stagnant and sitting in our cells, because every symptom, sickness, and disease is literally 90% stuck emotions, stuck belief patterns.
Yeah. And I think, people tell me they go to the doctor, said, oh, I'm, burning out or whatever. Well, the advice is decrease your stress. Well, easier said than done, right? Like, how does one do that? So having tangible tools to measure, and then action step to, have a path to say, okay, this is what needs to happen. This is the explanation for it. It must be very rewarding for you to do that with people and to guide them.
Yes, very rewarding, and I always share too with people, I can't fix you, because you're not broken. People think they're broken. They think they have faulty parts. No, your energy is just out of balance.
Yeah.
I think we way overcomplicated health. Yeah. We are so off course with our current system. It's a disgrace.
Yeah. And also, like, I was having a discussion yesterday morning with a colleague, is we forget how smart the body is. We forget that we have within us the ability to be healthy. We were born to be healthy, right? Like, it's everything that's happening to us physically, emotionally. So I think we forget about the innate wisdom of the body, and we're not tapping into that at all. And it's not in conversation that people have, to say, my body is able to deal with this, right? And like you said, I always say, you're not suffering from if you have a headache, you're not suffering from an aspirin deficiency, right? Like, there's way more to it. So let's talk a little bit about the who can benefit from this. And I'm sure you're going to say everyone, which, like chiropractic, I pretty much say that everybody can have a healthier and better functioning nervous system and brain body communication. But where do you see, or with who do you see the best results when you do this?
Absolutely. Well, everyone, like you said, right? Everyone that does it, as long as they're flexible and open with their mindset, and willing to process what we go through, right? They're going to benefit from it. But my favorite, maybe I'll just go with my favorite. Like, of course, my biggest client is a woman between 40 and 60. That's just who I mostly attract. It's the mom that is finally like, oh, shoot, I put myself off too long and I need to get my health back on track. And so we can help redirect them. But to me, I don't know if the funnest is the right word, the most interesting cases to help are the ones that can't speak. So elderly or babies, or, small children, or even kids that can speak. Usually when I scan, I'll just give you a story. Usually when I scan a child, he's about 4 or 5, 4. The mom's information will show up. So think about it. were programmed from our parents mostly.
Mm-hmm.
So I was literally going through a son's findings with the mom and dad sitting there listening, and he was sitting on the floor playing with his trucks, pretending like he wasn't listening, but I guess he was listening. And in his findings, a miscarriage showed up. He's a 4-year-old little boy.
Mm-hmm.
So when I see that, of course, I want to make sure I've built rapport with the parent that I'm speaking to. And I had. And so I asked if they had had any other pregnancies, and the whole energy of the room shifted. And the little boy stood up. He had been having breathing problems and getting sick a lot. That's why they brought him to me. He stood up and he looked at me and he said, "Thank you.
Wow.
I've been trying to tell my mom I'm stressed since she lost the baby."
Wow. I know. That's powerful.
I start crying. She started crying. The dad started crying. And the kids looking at us like, "Well, I told you. Like, what's wrong with you guys?" And she was like, "He has been telling me how stressed he's been since I lost the baby." And I said, "When did his symptoms start?" And she goes, "Like 2 months after I lost the baby." And that right there is healing.
Mm-hmm.
We just shifted his physiology and his chemistry because we shifted him emotionally, and we shifted the mom and the parents. So when I get to work with little kids, and then the room will change, the energy of the room will change because the parents' information will come forth. And so then everyone's healing. And so not only are we helping and healing the individual, but that family and this community, and then globally. Because energetically, we are all connected. We are all part of one big biofield.
Yeah. Big ripple effect.
Yes.
So would you say then, when you go through the results of testing, how much of it is work that you have to do with them from an emotional point of view, and how much of it would be you need this supplement or what, I'm just trying to gauge, how much
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah, so we'll usually go over the physical things that I found, chemical things, right? What frequency match regimens. And then I go through the psyche report with all the emotions, the self sabotage, the mental conflicts. We spend most of the time there because, right, that's what's underneath all the physical things, that why those are stuck. So we spend the most time talking about that. I want to make very clear, I am not a therapist. I don't do therapy with them. My job is to bring the awareness. I've even had many of them say to me, "I've learned more in this 30 minutes than I did in 10 years of therapy. Thank you." And they just start crying, and they're like, "I always knew something was stuck," or then they have something to take to their therapist that they can actually then discuss, which has been amazing. I have tons of therapists that refer a lot of people to me because they can actually figure out what's stuck with this person and help them faster. Now, sorry, I forgot what specifically you asked. Kind of got
Well,
off.
the supplement versus the
Yeah,
emotional,
yeah,
giving them lifestyle recommendation that you would
right,
have given to them maybe with blood work or hormone
right.
testing, or yeah.
Yeah, so of course I still show them the food sensitivities, that they have going on, and make recommendations there. If I know that, I had a guy today, he drinks 12 Mountain Dews a day. So I was like, okay, well, if you're expecting results, we're going to have to be working on reducing that and increasing the water. So of course I go through all of those same things. I would, even if I knew that, just as a chiropractor, right? I get them on the right frequency recommendations. My technology also gives them frequency matched affirmations. So they know exactly the affirmations, if that resonates with them, that they can, make those intentions, pray, intend, whatever they call it or do, right? And really rewire, because we need to rewire things, right? Things
Yeah.
are running automatically in that subconscious brain, and we need to rewire things if we want a different outcome. So those frequency matched affirmations are a huge help. I give them recommendations about those. I tell them to go back and read through it because I have them manually take a lot of notes because, right, writing, right, and seeing triggers different things in the brain. So then they have an assignment to go back and read through their notes 3 or 4 times in the next week. You're going to think of more things. Write about it, journal about it, write letters of forgiveness, write letters that aren't forgiving, whatever you need to do to shift and move that energy. And then I always tell them, you'll know when you're done working on it because it never fails. Someone will come in and they'll be like, yeah, I've been working on everything. And then, God, these last few days, it's just like, I just don't want to do it. And I'm like, it's because you're done. You're done with that piece, right? Move on and keep working on other things that keep you in high vibration. Because ultimately, the whole goal with anything about your healthier life is increase your vibration. Because when you're in a higher vibration, do you think you can get sick as often? No.
Yeah.
Because you're happier, you're more joyful, you're living your life in purpose, you're spending more time focusing on good things, and you're moving and shaking and rocking and rolling. You're not focusing on the gut issues or the leg pain. So really, we spend a lot of time figuring out what makes them happy. And I'll tell you, Dr. Nathalie, 99% of people don't know. It's
Really?
it's the last question I ask with every report of findings. What makes you happy? That has nothing to do with another human. It can't be about your husband. It can't be about your kids. If you were here alone on earth, what makes you happy? What would you wake up and do? Is it play the piano, read a book, garden, go for what would you do? And they just deer in the headlights. Huh?
Yeah. And I think our two things that comes to mind, our society, we're so programmed of doing. You see someone, hey, how have you been? Have you been busy? Like it's kind of a badge of honor, like that we always have to be doing something, right? So I think you're right that we're not asking ourselves as often as we should, what makes me happy? And doesn't have to be complicated, but it's a question that we should all be able to ask ourselves. And from an energy point of view, I think we've all been into a room that you step in and you're like, whoa, or somebody comes in a room and their energy is just like, everybody can feel it. So I think, what you're talking about, I think everybody's kind of experienced this. It's just that maybe we don't understand it. We don't know necessarily what to do with it, how to deal with it, and how to change our state. So how much work do you have to do with a patient, like one-on-one, after you do the remedy testing?
Yeah. Well, everyone is different, right? I might have somebody come in that has been dealing with Lyme or cancer, or some more serious health conditions. So I'm going to be, working with them more closely, more often. I would say the average person, though, once they get going, if they really start working on themselves, because again, what makes you happy? How much time a day are you spending on inner self work? Nobody is hardly. So I teach them how to do that at least 10, 15 minutes at minimum, 30 if you can. So once they start working on stuff, if they're doing a good job working on stuff, they start doing really well right away. You're on the right frequency match vitamins now. You've figured out what the stuck emotions and mental conflicts and sabotage programs are. And so you start working on that, whether it's journaling, whether you want to go to your therapist more, whether you need to go punch a punching bag. They have to figure out what works for them, because I always tell them what my way is not the right way. I'm here to share with you what you want you to know. That's another thing. They're like, how do you know this stuff? I'm like, I don't. I scan you. This is you talking to you. I'm just the deliverer of the message and the cheerleader. I'm just trying to help you, realize there's another lane that you can pick and go down. So I'd say my average patient is testing at least 3 times a year.
Okay.
They want an update. They feel pretty good. They want to know if there's another layer maybe to work on, because my clients understand you can only feel 10%, right? So they know better than to trust just, oh, I feel great, that there's that whole other 90% underneath there, that because with bioenergetic testing, we're testing what's current energy and potential future energy.
Mm.
Think about blood work is
Yeah.
testing the past.
Yeah. Yes, 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 yes. So
So
let's hold
I
that
can see
thought.
future.
Yeah, let's hold that thought, Dr. Angie, and let's take a quick break and we'll come back on that because what you just said is very powerful. Past versus future. We'll be right back.
In today's world, the flood of health information feels endless. But amidst the noise, two experts with over 50 years of combined clinical experience come together to help you with Smart Cuts, biohack your health span, cutting-edge protocols for greater energy and performance. Dr. Paul Sly, a beacon for athletes, weekend warriors, and those seeking to elevate their potential. And Dr. Nathalie Beauchamp, renowned for empowering individuals in their health journeys. Together, they've produced the book, Smart Cuts, Biohack Your Health Span, a protocol-based treasure trove packed with actionable steps. Journey through 5 transformative sections. Dive into sleep, hydration, movement, brain health, and even the secrets of longevity. Guided by their expert hands, unleash the best version of yourself. With over half a century of clinical wisdom and innovative protocols, reclaim your health and redefine your limits. Are you ready to embark on this transformative journey? Smart Cuts, available now.
And we are back to Hack Your Health with Dr. Nat with Dr. Angie Pufahl. And we're talking about remedy testing. And just before the break, Dr. Angie said, blood work will measure your state right now and in the past, and what she does has the potential to measure into the future. And Angie, when you said that, it really resonated with me because we don't need to be sick to do this testing. So I'd be curious to see how many people go do the remedy testing, and if they don't have any symptom, because as you said, we don't feel everything, what are they experiencing? More joy, more happiness? Like, tell me more about that.
Yeah, I would say, a lot of them will come in and just say, "Oh my gosh, people comment how happy I am now," or that I just look different, and they can't they're asking me what did I do, and think I lost weight when I didn't lose weight, or I mean, I hear it all. I even have patients that don't have symptoms. If they truly understand, quantum physics and energy, and they know that they can only feel 10% of what's going on in their body. So even if they feel good, I don't have a ton, but I have about 8 moms that now that they've worked with me for years and years, they'll still get tested. Maybe not 3 or 4 times a year, but they'll still check in once or twice a year because they want to make sure that they stay on top of anything that might be potentially brewing, right? Because like I said, when I'm looking at their energy field, I can see all those imprints. So if you imagine every food sensitivity, parasite, emotion, mental conflict, hormones, whatever we're looking at, they're all like rubber stamps.
Mm-hmm.
They're like all these little imprints that you carry in your field, in you, through you, and around you for several feet.
Wow.
We have all these energy layers, and people don't realize that. And that's like what you mentioned before. You can walk into a room and you can feel someone's vibes, and they might have been 10 feet away. That's
Yeah.
because everyone's energy field touches each other. And that's how we can pick up people's vibes. So that energy field is what I'm looking at. And I'm looking at all those rubber stampers of things. It might be active and current, and maybe you're having that a symptom from it, or it's telling me it's potential energy. It can turn into a problem. So something interesting, an interesting little story. I work with a lot of other healthcare providers. That's my biggest clientele is actually healthcare providers that are trying to get healthier, or they have really sick children and they're needing help taking care of their children. I had a chiropractor send me her hair sample, and we got it within 3 or 4 days or whatever. We ran her tests with her hair sample. I called her to go over the results. And one of the main things that showed up was a severe burn. And so I was like, "Hey, doctor, do you have a really bad burn, or did you burn yourself?" And she's sitting there. She's quiet. And I was like, "Hello?" And she's like, "How the heck do you know I have a burn?" And I'm like, "I don't. I'm reading the report that you are talking to you.
Mm.
And she's like, that burn happened after I set my hair.
Oh, wow.
And I said, that's because we're testing in real time.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
even if something happens, we're testing not the day you trim your hair. We're testing you the day your hair sample arrives.
Yeah. And I know it might be a lot for people to take in. I mean, I've read the work of, Joe Dispenza and Bruce Lipton and so forth. And even for me, that, I'm always intrigued with all of this. It's a lot to take in, but yet it makes sense, right? Like, so, what type of reading do you think people listening to us, say, okay, I'm open to this. How can I learn more? And not just about the remedy testing, but quantum
Yeah.
physics. Like, what books would you suggest, or what
Any basic,
people?
yeah, quantum physics. Just start looking at beginner's guide to quantum physics. Start looking up quantum energy. I don't have my resource guide that I give people right in front of me, but like and Joe Dispenza, right? Bruce Lipton, all of these guys have already done it all and been talking about it for years, along with many of the people that, started all the quantum physics and everything. There's so much out there, it'll blow your mind. And when you start, if it's something really interesting to you, you'll be like, how did we not know this? Like, how are we not taught this? Well, I think there's a good reason why we're not taught it as children,
Yeah,
because if we knew this stuff, you would understand how the universe works. And so that means you would understand how humans work more, and people wouldn't buy into the system very much.
yeah, exactly. And I'm even thinking, like, it gets me excited to also potentially, how would I explain that? So, sometime you're working hard on something, on a project or something you want to accomplish, and you're working, and it's just you're pushing instead of allowing it. Well, what does that mean, allowing it? And I'd be curious to see. And I'm going to I got tested years ago, but that was a long time ago, and I will definitely do it. I will be curious to see, when your energy is vibrating at the right level,
Mhm.
the things that come into your life that are gonna enrich your life, or things that you've been working and pushing, that probably now will be able to come to you because you're going to be vibrating at the right level of energy. Just for that purpose, I'd be super curious to see. Do you see this with some of your clients too?
Yeah, and that just reminded me. We also test your level of consciousness. We test your vital energy, which is like how vital is your energetic being, right? We test karma. We test your life force energy. How well are you expressing your life through your energetic body, and the energy of how well you heal. So basically, like, do you have a lot of fuel and gas in your gas tank? If something were to happen to you, are you likely to heal and repair in a normal, healthy response? Or are you likely to get worse? So we test a lot of really cool things that give people a lot of information, and they love watching things change, right? Like, oh, look at my level of consciousness is better. It's pretty fun.
I was going to use the word fun, right? Like and that's often when I get interview, with whomever is interviewing me, about the book and stuff like that. And they say, well, one parting word that you want to say, or a thought. And I said, it doesn't have to be hard. Like, it should be fun. It should be trying and testing and seeing, oh, I did this. Well, because I'm pretty big into biohacking and playing with my physiology, so I have more energy and vitality and so forth. So I'll be curious to play with this, and it should be fun. And the potential, that's what excites me, the potential of growth, emotionally, personally, even with your success in life. I see this as something that can help someone grow, not just with their health, but with their entire life.
Oh, absolutely. I always tell people, this isn't only just about your health. This is your entire existence.
Yeah.
We're able to measure the energetic imbalances and balances, you know, as you as a microorganism. You're vibrating, you're pulsing. If you look at us under a microscope, we are light and sound that's moving, you know. So, and most people, they just don't know, and it's okay. And I don't claim to be the expert by any means. I've just had a lot of fun learning and exploring and working with people and finding out what works for people. And I'll tell you, you know, this test, I always tell people, like, don't do the test if you're not ready to take responsibility, because it would be a waste of money, for one, because we have our own answers. We have all the answers inside of us. And I just happen to have a device that can help you with what your answers are. It's not about me telling you what to do. It's not about me fixing you. That future of healthcare that we talked about is you taking responsibility for you. I truly believe that. We have to stop looking outside of ourselves. We have to stop thinking we're going to take a pill, a potion, a lotion. Yes. Do I sell supplements with this? Yes. But these are ones you're frequency matched to. We're not out here searching, just trying everything. We're trying to get you to a point where we can reduce what you're taking and get you on the right track. If you work on the priority, everything else starts to work itself out. But we're working on all this stuff and we're chasing symptoms and we're chasing this, and we're not getting to what the priority is. The priority is not the parasite. The priority is not the heavy metal. Most of the time, it's the stuck emotions, right? Like, I'm not saying I never have to detox a kid or an adult from vaccines. I mean, I can see all the vaccines. I can see all the EMF damage. You know, I can certainly guide them on that too. But if we're not addressing our own vibration, it's likely that you're going to stay stuck in that cycle then and keep needing things to, you know, help boost you. When I really want to teach people, we're not broken. You're always going to have this in life. Always.
Yeah.
You're going to navigate that forever. But when you work on yourself for long enough, you get to a point where stuff just doesn't affect you the same way, because you're in a higher level of consciousness. You're in a higher state of vibration.
Yeah. And I mean, we talk a lot about resilience and, you know, hormesis and so forth. And I think you're referring to that, but it's just not just physical resilience that, you know, you're able to do cold plunges or sauna to make your body more resilient. We're talking about emotional resilience, because you now understand yourself better. You now vibrate at a different frequency. So you're able to, I guess, counteract what is thrown at you because you're just stronger. So I never really thought of resilience. Well, I mean, mentally, sure, to be, you know, more tough in life and not be too fragile, I guess. But emotionally, I think this makes a lot of sense to do it that way, and in a way that is guided, that is tangible. Because it's funny, we're talking about energy and it's intangible, but knowing this makes it more tangible, and I think people can wrap their head around. So it's a fun twist to things. So would you say that most people that get tested, some people probably do it just because they're curious. Would you say that when you sit down and go over that 20-page report and talk about all this, would you say most people take action? Most people want to you know, accept the information and move forward, or some people are just, you know, arm crossed and just, nope, I don't believe that.
Yeah. I will say about 90% in my office move forward, if not more. I have a very high conversion rate, if that's what you want to call it. Other practitioners that I've trained have not had that same response. So I think a lot of that comes, and you know this, in your certainty in how you explain things, in that energy exchange that you have with that patient. But yeah, I have very, very good compliance in my office. And of course, as a chiropractic first and foremost.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I
Brain
teach
body
them,
connection.
you need to have your innate intelligence flowing, and that's part of all what's going on as well. Like these are all your stuck patterns. We need to get that flowing, add in the frequency matched. Here's the emotional stuff. Like, so they're working on all of those things in my office.
Mhm. And are you able to guide them? So let's say, I don't know, the person is on different medication and so forth. You guide them through all this, and for them to go see their medical doctor and have those conversations. How do you find, therapists are sending you people, and they're receptive, obviously. How do you help people navigate, kind of crossing Western medicine with what you do?
I don't,
Okay.
because I find that the more that I try, um, that ends up like pushing people back. So they'll ask me questions like, well, I'm on these medications. What should I do? And I said, I'm a chiropractor. I don't prescribe or take people off medications, So see how you do. If you feel like you need to go talk to your doctor, I don't know why you wouldn't, right? Like, but what most people will actually ask me after they get going, they'll be like, why am I on these medications? And I'm like, um, I have no idea. And then they're
Something.
like, yeah, like I don't really know why either. And I'm like, that'd be a really good question. So I try leading them and embracing them where they're at and leading them to the place where when you raise your vibration and level of consciousness, you have to realize things yourself.
Yeah.
It doesn't work well to like tell them, my opinion, or of course, I would tell them what I would do maybe, but yeah. I try not to, I mean, I'm very vocal about how I feel about the medical world. I do
Mhm.
not hold back at all. I held back for 15 years and I have no filter anymore. I have zero filter. Um, so if somebody asks me a question, you're definitely going to hear what I have to think if you want to hear. And it maddens me.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's also about self-responsibility. Like even as chiropractors, sometimes, you have a 50-year-old coming to us, and they don't know how to exercise. And I'm like, oh my goodness gracious. Like there are things that we have to, again, take control of our health. And some of the stuff is no one's going to do it for us. So I think empowering people and doing what you do, I'm sure becomes a nice flow and a nice journey for them to start realizing things, because we see it in our office, just even from a chiropractic point of view. Now
Right.
they're not in pain, their mobility is better. It's like, oh, now I can, I'm walking more, it's nice to hear those things, and they're kind of side effect of being in our office. So I'm sure with the type of work that you do, there's a lot of positive side effect that probably change someone's view on life and even personality. So that must be pretty neat to see. So
Absolutely.
you talked about you a little bit, Angie. So I'm going to ask, obviously you've tested yourself, probably for many years. How often do you test, and what do you, I mean, I'm not asking you to share your personal
Yeah.
information, but how have you used it for yourself to grow and become a better human and a happier human?
Yeah, absolutely. So I test my full complete test probably 3 times a year on me. I think maybe last year I only did it twice, but I've done it twice already. I'm sure I'll do it again in 2024. But in between those times, just like I recommend with my clients, I test just the remedies, like just the regimens. I don't need to see my full report if things are going well every month, right? But if I'm taking a remedy for a few months and I'm running out, I'll usually always go recheck that remedy so I know, was that enough? Do I still need that one supplement? Is there another layer that I need to work on? I feel that we are always going to be a work in progress. We live in a very, very stressful world right now, especially. It's very difficult to find good quality food. The stress amounts, we're all working, like you said, way too many hours. We're not spending enough time, self-love, self-care, whatever it might be. So I will always test myself. And of course I have the device so I can do that all the time. So I am always taking my frequency match regimen. I run out, I test the next one. But yeah, I'll test myself so I can look at my psyche stuff about 3 times a year. If I'm feeling really off, I'll just run the one affirmation report on myself so I can do a check in, get on the right affirmations again. But what my technology can also do, because it's like Wi-Fi, is the device can communicate back and forth with the individual, right? Once we have their energetic blueprint. So I can clear my chakras, I can balance my frequencies with my device, and I don't even have to be here. So my staff can do that for me. We do that for many, many clients that want distance therapy. So I do that on myself quite a bit. But yeah, I mean, I'm in my office way too much. So I have the benefit of getting all that stuff done. I probably need to be in the gym more is where I need to be. Yeah, so I can stay on top of my food sensitivities and those type of things, having the technology, which is a really nice feature.
Yeah. So, the hour is almost done and we're going to start wrapping up. So some people obviously are in your area that might be listening to this, but some people are not. So you mentioned that you do work remote, and I will be doing the testing, and we probably could do a show on the results.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm not going to want to share this all, but anywho. So how does it work when people get tested by you and the report, and how they can do that with your website and so forth? So walk us through the process that you use for people that are remote.
Yeah, absolutely. So right now, anybody that ordered would get to work directly with me, which is a perk because I can see a lot of data that my other practitioners can't see. So you would be working directly with me. And you can go learn more. Maybe somebody listening just wants to go see, what does this report look like? I want to see some of the data points. My chiropractic page has, under the services, a whole remedy testing section where you can go read more information, learn about it. Maybe somebody just wants to do that. So my website is VIBE, chiropractic.org. So they can go learn more, read about it there. But if somebody actually wants to order the test, or maybe they want to talk to me, maybe they want to just ask me some questions about it, or I do free consultations as well. I would suggest calling my office. And if you want a consultation with me, just book that with whoever answers the phone. Or if you have some questions, you can leave me a message. I'm happy to call you back. And if you want to order, call my office, because you can just say, hey, I listened to Dr. Nathalie's podcast with you and I want $100 off. And I will give anybody that listened to your podcast $100 off. Call my office, place the order. We'll drop ship you a kit. You follow the instructions. It comes back to me and with a prepaid postage mailing. You don't even have to pay for it. It'll come back to me. We process results usually within 3 or 4 days of receiving, super fast, sometimes even 1 day. So your result, it's only the time that it takes to get to me in the mail. We process your results. We send you a hard copy via email. And then in that email, there's a video helping you understand the basics, right? Just how to look at the report. And then you call my office when you get that, and you schedule a time to sit down over the phone and we go over your results. And then we start from there.
That's great. That's great. So, Angie, thank you so much. As I said, I will be calling your office to order my tests.
Yeah.
I love biohacking, and this is biohacking to the next level. So I really encourage people to go check out Dr. Angie's website, read on it, maybe grab a copy of Dr. Bruce Lipton, Dr. Joe Dispenza's work, book on quantum energy. And like I read in your bio, the future is frequency medicine, and we are already here.
We're already there.
Right?
Yeah.
We just have to understand it better and leverage it, because I think I'm going to be excited to see what doors this open for myself, my health, and the things that are important to me and my happiness in larger scale. So thank you
And
so much, Angie. Any last word before we leave to our audience, that with all the wisdom that you have?
oh goodness, I don't know. I feel like I talked and said a lot, but yeah, I just wish you well, and I hope you'll consider checking out bioenergetic testing and remedy testing. It's been honestly 21 years of practice. This has been the most life changing thing more than chiropractic for me. Love chiropractic. I'm a chiropractor first and foremost. It is in my blood, but I see more transformation happen when people can really figure out what stuck emotions are keeping them from getting rid of the parasite or being sick or whatever it is. It's amazing. So yeah, you can check out vibechiropractic.org or call my office. My office number is 763-777-9129. I'm sure it's on my website too. So
Yeah.
find me, say you watch the podcast, and let me know you want the discount.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Dr. Angie. So this was Hack Your Health with Dr. Nat, where we talked about remedy testing. Hope you learned a lot. I hope we expanded your consciousness and that you are going to explore what we talked about. So thank you so much and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Welcome to Dr. Nathalie's 7-Day Hack Your Health Challenge. Transform your fitness level with 7 quick, do them from anywhere workouts. Look and feel great. Nutrition. Master the art of optimizing your diet and maximizing nutrient intake with daily nutrition challenges. Biohacking. Unlock exclusive content to tap into your body's innate wisdom. Take on challenges to optimize your mindset and physiology. Ready to transform your health? Visit www.drnat.life to join Dr. Nathalie's 7-Day Hack Your Health Challenge. Your journey begins now.
This has been Hack Your Health with Dr. Nat. Tune in each week and uncover simple yet powerful strategies and actionable steps to elevate your health and wellness.